So we've just found out that the assassin uh, is a guy named Tyler Robinson. Now, I've got three sons. I love them so much. I'm so very proud of them. Can you imagine if you were watching television and you saw your son in black uniform and you recognized him as the assassin of Charlie Kirk, and you picked up the phone and called the FBI? That's what Tyler Robinson's father did. That must have been the most difficult call that he ever made. And he was absolutely so courageous and correct to make the call. Tyler Robinson, 22 years old. That's just breaking as we've been doing this interview. We know nothing about him. Um, but it appears that he's been captured alive, which is a first. And maybe we'll be able to get to the bottom of whether he acted alone through some derangement or whether he was part of a cult or whether he was somehow part of something larger. I really haven't heard even the conspiratorialists really saying that Charlie was a victim of a organized or well planned plot from a group of people. Hopefully we will learn the truth and learn the details. Do you have any supposition on your own? I mean, Anthony over here is a marksman. He collects guns. He's kind of, I don't know, he's kind of out there. But he said that shot that this guy took was not just a throwdown. That it required skill and some degree of precision. Any hunches? What's up here?
Yeah, so I think with this, I was just talking with a really good friend of mine who's also in the media and stuff, and we were talking about this very thing. And because when you actually look at the angle from the FBI posted a photo of where he took the shot from, looking towards where Charlie Kirk was sitting, and like there you see he's sitting there, and then you've got a building that's coming out that's almost in between, not quite, but slightly off to the right, where the corner of the building it would be blocking a huge percentage of the crowd that's right there. And so even if he was off just slightly to the right, he would have hit the side of the building. And so, to me, the hard thing with this, and the FBI kind of talked about this a little bit, I think it was either this morning or late last night, where they do know that he was in communication with somebody else on Discord, and that he was coordinating with them for dropping off the gun, picking it up. I've been hearing reports that that he actually got the engravings with the casings. It was already on there, so there's definitely potential that he was working or coordinating with somebody else. I know John Solomon and some other people as well have been saying that there's chatter within the intelligence agencies, and I think Sean Hannity confirmed it last night that he was told by somebody in an intelligence agency that there may have been like a foreign agency or foreign government or something like that was somehow involved. Maybe it's through that Discord chat. I have no idea. So we're gonna hopefully get down to the bottom of this at some point very, very soon. But I think that we still need to be asking a lot of questions, just because we can't let what happened to Donald Trump's attempted assassination happen again, because what ended up, they just kept kicking the can down the road, and then eventually people kind of moved on, and we still don't really have answers to that. I mean, you go back to pretty much all these, look at all the different assassinations that have happened. There's discrepancies in a lot of them, and I feel like we rarely, if ever, get answers. And the question is why? I don't know, but that's why I think we need to continually put the pressure on, because this one was different. Charlie Kirk was different than a lot of the other assassinations and assassination attempts that we've seen. With Trump, you get the Trump derangement. People are insane. They're crazy. He's running for president. He's going to become president of the United States and actually have decision-making power. And if you truly think that he's Adolf Hitler, I get how somebody who's brainwashed and pushed with propaganda would feel like, okay, this is the moral decision to do this. You look at things like that. You're like, okay, you get that. Charlie Kirk was the nicest person you would ever meet. Charlie Kirk was not a politician. He was an everyday conservative voice. He was talking to people. He was anti-violence because he was trying to have conversations to avoid the violence. I
Yeah.
can't think of another assassination to me that was this shocking of somebody who wasn't a politician in America since like MLK Jr. Like when you actually think about it, they were just like they were a leader of a movement of, that were both nonviolent, and they were assassinated for that. Like to me, that's how shocking this is. He was not a president. He was not a politician. He was not somebody who had like decision making power, and he was still taken out in this fashion.
Husband, father, patriot, 31, athlete. I mean, it's just shocking that we could get to this place. And I really am worried about our future as a country, not so much as a country, but as a democratically governed country. Um, I also think Charlie had beliefs or suspicions that he was going to be assassinated. Evidently, he told a number of people that he felt that he was perhaps going to be assassinated, and I, I guess he had been critical of Israel of late, and was vocal about his concerns about Israel and their treatment of the people in Palestine. Another very difficult issue. I've repeatedly said on this station in this broadcast that I am sympathetic for people who don't have shelter, clothing, food, any form of security, any reason for optimism about their life. But unfortunately, Palestinians have thrown down with Hamas that killed 200 people at a pop festival and have brutally, savagely killed women, pregnant women, and young children. I mean, how can you have any compassion? How can you have any sympathy for people that behave in that fashion and commit these sorts of atrocities? And I mean, I think the enemy is not the Palestinians, the enemy is Hamas. And I don't have a solution for dealing with Hamas other than complete annihilation. And if someone has a better strategy, please let me know. You can email me, johngordontruth@gmail.com. I'd like to hear from you. I've searched my brain, I've searched my soul, I've searched social media and the news media. I haven't read where anyone is offering a solution to how you deal with savage terrorists.
Yeah, I think it's a valid point, and the thing for me is I look at it and I see some valid points, I think, on both sides of the argument. I get the side, and this is where I think a lot of people have gone into the anti-Israel crowd. I get the side of, like, you don't like seeing non-military people getting killed. You don't like seeing civilians, women and children, getting killed. On the flip side, I've also talked to military guys that have been active duty in Afghanistan and in the Middle East, and they've told me specifically that he's like, these kids are brainwashed, where the entire population is basically taught that if you kill an infidel, or you kill an American, or whatever it is, then that's a good thing. And also, I've spoken to military guys that have said that, like, look, we can't physically go into every single house and school and hospital and pick out the difference between a civilian and one of their military people, because it's not like they're dressed in a uniform. They don't have like a football jersey on that says, "Hi, I'm a Hamas terrorist." They blend in with their surroundings, and that's very intentional. So they're like, it's not feasible to say we're going to go knock on doors and ask, "Hey, is there a Hamas terrorist in here?" and we're going to arrest you. That's not how it works when they're literally hiding. So I get both sides of the argument, and I think that's where it's like we need more conversation about this, and more discussion and understanding of the other side. And that's again, to commend Charlie on the way he was handling. I think that he actually handled even when he brought up his concerns with, with Israel and certain aspects of it, he still did so with respect and with grace. It wasn't a lot of this anti-Semitic BS that you see on a lot of these from a lot of these other influencers. It was coming from a level of compassion and logic and all of that, whether you agree with them or disagree with them. But to me, again, he showed us how we should handle ourselves in a lot of these situations. And I think he was a perfect example for us.
Well, I think that he was joined by Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson as well, who have expressed concerns. And now they are just knee jerkly and reflexively categorized as people who hate Jews. And I just don't think that's a fair representation at all. But evidently, Charlie thought that he was a marked man and was worried about being assassinated. He had on a bulletproof vest. Supposedly, the bullet struck the bulletproof vest and ricocheted into his neck and just died so tragically, horrifically, unnecessarily. And anyway, it's just a very sad thing, very sad occurrence for him, his family, and our country.